But the Bradford thing is so ridiculous, though, because everyone is considering him to be such a great quarterback, and he really isn't. Like, I've never been fully invested in Sam Bradford as a whole. I think St. Louis gets the better end of this deal. They've got Nick Foles, but because Bradford goes there now with whatever draft picks we've been talking about them possibly getting, we need to figure out the full weight of exactly what it's going to be. I think Chip Kelly still has this master plan to get Mariota in there somewhere. I think he's going to use Bradford as trade bait along with some of these draft picks that he got as well, draft day, so they can trade up. But a lot of that really is now in the balance because Tennessee Titans quarterback Jake Locker retired yesterday. Yeah. Which was a big surprise around the NFL. And everyone's like, oh, he just wanted to steal some of the press because all this other stuff's going on. But now that the Titans are for sure in desperate need of a quarterback, looks like that it'll go Winston Mariota 1-2 off the board because Tennessee certainly needs a quarterback.
Yeah, definitely. Because that was a little bit of a surprise to me. I didn't see that Locker was going to retire because I don't think he was in the league for all that long. 3 or 4 years, maybe at the most?
Yeah,
so I was expecting him to stick around, especially since he had a starting position in Tennessee. And they weren't the best, but he wasn't the worst quarterback. I definitely feel like there were some worse quarterbacks that played.
Oh, certainly, yeah. Like guys like Ryan Mallett down in Houston were just atrocious compared to Jake Locker. Even though Locker wasn't, like you said, a stand-up all-star quarterback, he was relatively decent.
Yeah, he was what the Tennessee Titans needed at that time. And so now the Titans are pretty much going to have to start from scratch over at quarterback, so I would see them definitely needing to pick up Mariota, especially since they don't even have the best running game.
Yeah, and some of that, though, it's interesting because the Titans haven't had a good quarterback since a guy named Steve McNair was throwing the ball for them back in the day. Back when they were the Houston Oilers for a while, then they transitioned to the Tennessee Titans. McNair back in the day.
That's an old name.
Yeah, and they haven't had a good team since, when he was on the team. They had Derek Mason, they had Eddie George, Javon Curse. You'll remember some of those guys from back in the day.
Now, I know the Titans may have shorn up their special teams unit by signing their punter to a 5-year, $15 million contract.
Punters are getting paid.
When your quarterback retires, we're going to need a good punter.
That's true. You're going to be on the field a lot.
It just kind of makes me chuckle when I see teams with. I know Bax, you might take offense to this because you're a quarterback. You're a kicker.
I'm a kicker. Yes, I'm very proud.
When the kicker or the punter has that C on his jersey, I'm just like,
so proud. So proud.
That's not the words I would use.
I probably gave it more due than it was needed to, but when Steven Gostkowski got the franchise tag with the Patriots, I'm like, you're darn right you're paying a kicker $4 million a year. He does everything and more. Oh, I love kickers. Anyway, you hate us because you ain't us, Grant. That's what it comes down to.
Super Bowls have been riding on that leg.
They really have. Him and Adam Vinatieri. They should put Adam Vinatieri's right leg in the Hall of Fame. I don't know if that's legal or not.
Separate it from his body.
Yeah, they'll give him, like, when he gets older, they'll just cut it off, just put it in.
Yeah, he'll have a statue out in front of the Pat Stadium, just a giant leg. Mommy, can I go get a picture by the leg?
Yeah, right. As long as it's not Ray Lewis. I mean, so Ray Lewis has got his statue in Baltimore, and he's anyway. Tom Brady will get a statue.
Holding a gun or something?
he's got the rest of Adam Vinatieri's body.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. But anyway, being in Florida, it's sunny, it's bright. It kind of reminds me of being on an island.
Dude, your transitions.
My transitions are so smooth.
Can I guess?
Please, go.
Would that be Revis Island?
Oh, you're so correct. Except we're a little south. Revis Island has taken his talents to the northeast. It's a little chilly this time of year to be on an island in New York, but he has decided to go back to the team that brought him into the league, the New York Jets, after the New England Patriots declined his option. But rightfully so. The man was set to make $20 million. Right. That's a lot of cap money to be thrown around for one player.
Definitely. But I know that Zach we were talking before the show, and he had some problems with this trade, and that the New England Patriots had some problems with this. They were pretty upset by it.
Do tell, Zach.
Yeah, so the owner of the Jets had a press conference, and he strayed a little bit from his PR docket, and he made some off-the-cuff comments regarding, we would sure love to have Darrelle Revis come home. I'm not so sure that the Patriots took that so nice, and I know that they contacted the NFL and possibly had some tampering issues with that. And now that Revis is back at the Jets, we'll see if those come to fruition or what's up with that.
The Jets, though, are such a weird team because even if they have Rivas back, their defense is weird because they're good, but they're not, but they are, but they aren't. But
it's kind of like the Jets in general, though. Well, their offense is less to be desired, but yeah, their defense is kind of like, it's kind of like, do they show up or do they not show up? So it's kind of an interesting thing. But Rivas should definitely make that better, even though he hasn't been playing his best ball. He did play his best ball with the Jets, and he wasn't the best with New England. He wasn't like his old self, but he did still play fantastic, and the Jets would love to have him
He had
back.
more complementing players around him on the Patriots.
But I think that he's going to have some good complementing players with him on the Jets as well. They signed Buster Skrine to a 4-year, $25 million contract. So they've got Rivas and Skrine opposite sides.
It's not a bad pairing, yeah.
I don't see a team going deep with a number 1 or number 2 if those two guys are on the corners. So
Yeah.
So do we have a new Legion of Boom?
Doubtful, no. Seattle still is going to be interesting. They're trying to steal Tremont Williams from the Packers. I don't know if Tremont is actually going to go or not, but that would be interesting to see. I think Brandon Brown is a free agent now as well, so I doubt he would go back to Seattle, but for the right price, you never know.
And Byron Maxwell was picked up by the Eagles after the Seahawks neglected to sign him. So the Eagles taken up him, and then Brad Jones from the Packers. So the Eagles are trying to
how
reinforce
unfortunate. The Packers losing such
Bummer.
a class act. Such a classy player.
Sure. We'll say class.
Yeah, class.
Quotation marks.
Exactly. This is radio. Grant is giving the biggest quotation marks in existence. Such a good player. Yes, there we go. Another exciting thing, though, the Green Bay Packers re-signing. I think Green Bay is close to winning free agency this year. They re-signed Randall Cobb and they re-signed Brian Bulaga.
And that was arguably the two biggest guys that they needed to re-sign because their offensive line has been trash, to say the least, the past couple of years. But last year, it was fantastic. Rodgers had time in the pocket. He always was able to throw the ball. And that offensive line played extremely well. Even though Bulaga has struggled with injuries, he stayed fairly healthy last season. I was reading a couple articles about this. He was saying that they're a family. They like to stick together. And that exactly. And it would be a shame to split them up. So it was great that the Packers were able to keep him.
Yeah, and it really proves that they are a home team and they want to keep their players too.
If you can gimp around in an NFL backfield and make passes, you've got a pretty good O-line.
Exactly.
So the Packers proved that they were the O-line last year.
Yes, certainly. And well, so Zach, we really appreciate you stopping by today. Thank you for spreading your free agent knowledge on us, and we'll look forward to having you back in the future to show up more random sports things that you know.
That was good to be here.
Do you have I know we have intern Laura, she's got her fun whatever later on, but do you have some just random off the wall sport tidbit that nobody should have any business knowing, but for somehow you know it?
Today I was just perusing the interwebs and I came across a sport called extreme ironing. So you intern Laura's giving me dirty looks from the other side of the glass here, but so it's a sport in which you take your ironing equipment to a cliff, to a
cliff,
to a
did you
kayak
not see
in
the
the middle
video?
of the ocean. Yeah, the video is great.
Yeah, the guy was like next to a waterfall.
Yeah, so yeah, if
So
you ever
isn't that like counterproductive if you're doing that underwater? Like, isn't the point to iron things is to make it like
if you ever
dry?
want a clean pressed shirt, 30,000, well, not quite 30,000, 20,000 feet in the air, climb Mount Everest, throw out your iron your shirt. Bam, extreme ironing.
Boom, I love it. All right,
New
Zach.
sport.
Exactly, right. We're playing it next year. All right, thanks again, Zach, for stopping by. All right, Grant, it is time for the favorite part of the show, Grant's Rant. All right, my good man, sir. What do you have for us this very day?
I'm talking about Amari Stoudemire.
Amari Stoudemire, the man that is sweet as... Well, he's not sweet. He's dry as red wine because red wine is not traditionally sweet. But anyway, 30 seconds on the clock for you, sir. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Ready and go!
Amari Stoudemire is disgusted and disappointed after the Mavericks' loss. He's calling out his team after they have gone 5-6 since he has joined his new team, and that the team in their last 30 games has gone 15-15. Not something to be desired. But my thing is, Stoudemire is blown out of proportion. He's an overrated player. He's not playing well. And if you are going to win games, you need to step up. You can't be expecting your team to
Time's up.
And especially this just came after they lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers 127-97. You just took away my score, so I wasn't able to. It was 127-94. Excuse me. So after that big loss, he was really upset. But I'm like, put the team on your back, son.
Man up, Amari.
How much money are you getting to then call out your teammates? You're bathing in red wine, and you're expecting them to put the load on their back? No. You step up.
All right, then. All right, Grant is... I don't even know what Grant just did. He tore his shirt off. He threw something across. I don't even know. Anyway, we're going to take a fast break. When we come back, Grant's going to chat a little bit about the NHL Power Rankings, and then intern Laura's in studio to offer her thingamabob. And we got a little What If Wednesday as well. This is the Bax and Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. Welcome back to the Bax and Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
Grant, the hockey world is upside down, it's backwards, it's reverse, and that's just, after you get checked into the boards, basically.
Right, pretty much. Well, it has been swapping in terms of power rankings and teams stepping up to the plate. We have some drastic changes happening. So we're just going to get into that right now. The New York Rangers have moved up 2 spots and are claiming the top spot in the power ranking with a 40-17-7 record. They are on fire right now. They just had a impressive win over the Chicago Blackhawks, 1-0 in overtime. So great job for them. They're stepping up. Finally a New York team. But the Rangers have always been a decent team. So
they've always been consistently dangerous.
Yeah, next to the Islanders, they're probably one of the only New York teams that are stepping up, and one of the lesser-known sports, that is. But, I mean, you take what you get. The number 2 spot, St. Louis. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yeah, that's my favorite team.
Blues.
Is
that not a thing?
That's not a thing. That's not a thing.
Da Blues. No? Can I make it a thing?
Sure, make it a thing.
Yay, Da Blues.
Okay. New shirts. But the last couple of weeks, they have been dropping the ball. They've been, thankfully, the Nashville Predators lost, I believe, in the end of the losing streak. It was either 7 or 8 games. They finally won their last game. But the Blues have been able to stick with them, even though they have been struggling. But this last week, they were able to pick up some ground against Toronto, and they've had a really good game. They played the Jets last night. They were up 3-0, and then the Jets then tied it up eventually with them 4-4, the 3-3, excuse me. And the Blues actually won with about a couple minutes left with a fluky goal from center, and the goalie, I don't know, just didn't see it, and the Blues won 4-3 in regulation.
Hey, win's a win, right?
Exactly. They're now only 2 points behind in the Central Division, and the Predators have been definitely on the decline, so we're looking for them to step up. Minnesota Wild, 36-23-7, third in the power rankings, moving up 6 spots. Now, that is huge.
Yeah, when I was looking at this earlier today, I was shocked because the last time we did power rankings, Minnesota was 10. 9. Either way. Math and stuff. Anyway, Minnesota was just outside or getting to be that bubble team on the 9-10 spot there, and I'm like, okay, Minnesota, you. I mean, at least in power rankings, that's a significant amount of ground to make up.
It definitely is, and especially looking at the kind of season that the Minnesota Wild have had. at the beginning. It was not good. They had goaltending issues. There was just nothing that they could handle. But then this past month, they've just been on fire, and I've been saying this over and over and over again. Dubnyk in the net is fantastic. In the last 24 games, they are 18-4-2. So they've only, in the last 24 games, they have lost 4 games in 3 periods.
Ridiculous.
And they are on fire right now. They're still second wild card spot. They are behind Chicago, who has 84 points, or their first wild card spot, excuse me. Chicago has 84 points, and they have 81 points. And Chicago is also on the decline right now. So this is a prime spot for Minnesota to move up. And actually, if they do that, it would be looking like a St. Louis, Minnesota first-round playoff game.
How would you feel about that?
I would cry because I like both of the teams.
I know
and
you do.
I'm
You'd
cheering for
obviously
both
cheer for
of
the Blues.
I would cheer for the Blues. But then we have Anaheim in the 4th spot. They're sticking there. Montreal Canadiens, they moved down. Yeah, that's how you say it.
Every time you say it, I'm just like, Canadians.
You have to say the Canadiens. They're in the 5th spot. New York Islanders still in the 6th. Pittsburgh moves up 1 and 7. Tampa Bay has moved up 2, and they're in the 8th spot. Chicago moved up 3 and it's in the 9th spot. I actually think they should have gone down personally, but that's just me. But the big move, Nashville Predators down 8 spots. They had 6 straight losses, and they actually lost the 7th one before these came out. So, yes, it was a 7th-game losing streak. It was a 6th game. They lost to the Winnipeg Jets in their last one, and they finally did win a game, but they are definitely not the team that they came out strong. They're 41-19-7 still, but they had a commanding lead. They had about an 8 or 10 point lead on the Blues at one point.
Yeah.
And then they just threw it away. They had the President's Trophy locked up. Well, I wouldn't say locked up, but they were in a strong commanding lead. For a while,
though, every time you mention the President's Trophy, you always mention the Predators. Like, they are looking like the surefire team that's going to just take over NHL this year. And then, hearing from you and following a little bit of hockey as well, it's like, the Predators lost. Oh, the Predators lost again. Oh, they lost again. It continued to build and build and build, and now they're seeing the results of their failures as they have dropped, like you said, 8 spots. They're now 10th, 41-19-7 on the year so far. They're not in a horrible spot record play, in terms of their record, but they still can certainly move. And they're first in the Central, like you said. I mean, they've got the Blues and the Blackhawks right behind them, but it all kind of depends now. Nashville cannot afford to really lose a lot of games down the rest of the stretch.
Right, they definitely gave up their cushion that you would kind of like to have going into the last couple of weeks, because that's when key injuries can happen. The Blues found that out the hard way last year. They had the same exact thing happen to them, but that happened to them at the end of the year. But now Nashville has lost their big lead. And another interesting thing I want to point out is that the Central Division this year is absolutely insane. The Nashville Predators at the top with 91, Blues 89, Blackhawks 84 points, Minnesota 81, and the Winnipeg Jets with 78 points. So the Central is claiming both two wildcard spots, and the Pacific is just sitting on the outside with Anaheim Ducks with 91, Vancouver Canucks with 80, but then Calgary Flames 77 points. So, and looking at the Eastern Conference, they're not putting up gaudy numbers either. So the Central Division is a powerhouse of division that it used to not be that strong. So it's really good to see this competitive play coming from the Central.
Yes, definitely. Teams to keep an eye on, like you said, though, the Blues, the Predators, the Blackhawks, just a kind of a craziness going on over there. Eastern Conference, they're all over the place as well. Like you said, the Canadiens, top of the Atlantic with 91 points, but the Lightning right behind them with 90. Tampa Bay, the Florida team. I'm not a Florida hockey fan, but look at them, though, making moves. So we'll see just kind of how it all turns out from that. But Grant, do you know exactly what time it is right now?
I believe it is time for Laura's Thingamabob.
Indeed it is. Intern Laura is here. She has made the drive, and it is time for Intern Laura's Thingamabob. It is just, this music just gets me so excited because I know one of my most favorite people in the world is in the studio with us.
And she loves it, too. She absolutely loves this music. We were playing before getting all of our audio set up, and she was just like...
This is my jam.
Nothing wrong with that. Laura, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Excited to be home. Excited. It's beautiful weather outside. It's sunny. It's Florida. It's amazing, and I could not be happier. But I'm also here with you guys, so I'm even more happier. See what I did there? I love you guys. You're amazing.
Don't hit my sunburn.
I'm sorry. Yeah. All right, Laura, your thingamabob for today. What wonderfulness do you have to bestow on us today?
All right. Well, today I don't actually have a quirky sport from around the world.
What?
Because Zach kind of hit on that today,
Okay.
so he stole my thunder.
Oh, no.
But
That's
today
my
I'm gonna-
fault then. I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. You didn't know.
Okay. Anyway.
For once, I'm actually going to talk about the Steagles. Have you heard of the Steagles?
No.
Are they related to the seagulls?
No.
Okay. Then I don't know what that is.
Are they related to beagles?
No. I'm really glad that you haven't heard of this because I was hoping that I wouldn't come up with some sort of sports fact that everyone knew and I didn't know because that would have been really embarrassing. But the Steagles were actually a real NFL team. In 1943, it was the combination of the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Ah, I see what they did there.
And because World War II started in 1941 and about 600 NFL members were drafted into the war, they lost so many people and they had to combine teams. And this is an example of one of them. I'm not sure how many other teams were actually combined, but I do know that the Eagles and the Steelers were both combined. And
Interesting. I
isn't
never
that
knew they were
interesting?
even combined. That's cool.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it made me think, oh, what if that happened today? Like, we would combine the Cowboys and the Vikings, Vowboys, or the Packers and the Bears. Oh no,
The Pears.
The Pears.
We don't talk about combining. That's we would come up with the Dolphins or something, but not with the Bears. I would even take
Never.
I would team with the Buccaneers over the Bears any day.
Well, sure.
as well.
What would
I as
that be?
well.
The Packeneers, the
that-
Backers, the Buckers,
the Buckers.
the Buckers.
Hey, that would be a Wisconsin theme. The Buckers.
Hey, the Buckers. That's very interesting though. The what was it? The
the Steagles.
Steagles. I'm like the Steelers. That doesn't
Yeah,
sound
yeah.
the Steagles. Interesting.
And many of the teammates that were actually still on the team, a lot of times had a reason why they couldn't go off to war. They had to stay, and a lot of them were physical reasons. So you'll notice that a lot of the members of the Steagles team had physical defects, such as one of them was blind in one eye and half blind in the other, and their leading receiver, I believe it was, like that season, he was blind. Like, he was one who was like partially blind.
Holy
So
cow!
it's amazing.
How do you play football?
How do you play a receiver when you're partially blind?
Just hear the
I
ball.
know there was. I can't think of his name right now, but there were NFL receivers in more recent history that have been colorblind.
Well, I could see you getting away with
Interesting.
that.
Yeah, but it's his struggles though are still trying to process everything that's going
Right.
on around you though. But it's being blind in one eye is
Yep,
I don't
you
even
see-
know how I'd be able to do that.
Especially things that are color coordinated, because I know in the NFL there's just a lot of stuff going around, and a team could use color
Yeah.
coordinated things to, like, charts or graphs or something, or playbooks. So that could be difficult.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month would be really boring. It's like everything's pink. No, it's not. It's all gray.
Why are we wearing gray?
Yeah, we wear gray every week. Well, we're the same color. How do we know what team to throw the ball to? It's like I would get so confused.
Oh, maybe throwback day, like
Yeah.
throwback jerseys. That would be confusing.
Ooh.
That'd be very confusing.
I wouldn't know what to do. You got to look at the logos on the helmet, I guess.
Yeah, but his name was Tony Bova. He was the Steagles' leading receiver, and he had 17 receptions. And he was blind in one eye and partially blind in the other.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I know World War II as a whole really just kind of scraped all of the sports landscape for a while, because obviously defending our country is far more important than sports, even though people would disagree with that probably nowadays. But I would be interested, even not that I don't want another world war to happen, but it'd be how many of the active professional athletes would actually try to go and try to help. But obviously I know there's no draft system
Yeah.
and all that
Yeah,
stuff now,
yeah.
but
I feel like it would be a lot less than World War II, especially with the amount of money that some of these players are making.
exactly, yeah. I'm not exactly sure how that would all work, but yeah, it's interesting. Anything else about the Steagles or anything else for us, intern Laura?
No, that's just about it.
All right. Well, we're going to keep you here to play a little. It is Wednesday, so aside from it being Hump Day, Grant,
Hump Day!
it is also What If Wednesday. So, What If Wednesday, the way it works is we ask a what if question, and the other two parties involved here will offer a response. So, my what if question to both of you is, what if the Minnesota Vikings finish first in the NFC North and the Packers finish second?
That might be interesting, because it's really early in the season. Teams aren't finalized yet. I don't think that the Vikings will get first. I do think they're more favorable, at least maybe making it to the 6th wildcard spot. But if they did do that, I don't think the Vikings would. I think the Packers and Vikings would meet in the playoff game, and the Packers would win.
Yes. All right, Laura, your thought about that?
Due to my extensive knowledge of the National Football League of America,
I feel like I should salute.
yes. If the Vikings were first, I would be very sad.
That's all it is. Laura would be very sad. Okay. Grant, what is your what if for Laura and I?
My what if would be if the Packers re-sign Randall Cobb, but they are not able to hold on to Balaga.
What if that would have happened?
Yeah, what if that happened?
I believe that if it would have happened, I think that the Packers would still have been okay because they have enough young offensive linemen in Don Barkley and David Bakhtiari that they would have been able to fill the gaps needed. Obviously, Balaga's a big guy. It's hard to recoup once you lose him, but the offensive line as a whole, I think, would still be fairly stable. Rodgers might not have 15 seconds in the pocket. He'd maybe have 12 seconds in the pocket or something now. But I think the Packers would be still okay with that.
Can you repeat the question?
What if the Packers are able to they re-sign Randall Cobb, but they are not able to sign Balaga, their offensive lineman?
Well, Randall Cobb is a very good player, so that'd be very great for him to be on our team, and I'm very excited. Balaga, that would be very unfortunate if we could not sign him.
All right.
Laura's face is just like, I have no idea what's going on.
Sorry.
Her descriptive words, they're great, they're awesome, they're super duper good players.
They're super duper.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. All right, Laura, your what if for Grant and I?
All right, so my what if pertains back to my thingamabob before. So if we were to go in another world war, that was kind of what you were saying before. Well, I know Art Rooney, he was the Steelers owner at the time that this happened. He worried that the league would actually fail because he knew that they needed at least eight teams for the league to keep going. Do you think that if we had another draft and had a world war and tons of men had to go over from the NFL, do you think, and we had that many teams, not a lot at all, do you think that the NFL would suffer greatly from that? Do you think it would just kaput?
Well, you can go first.
Well, it would depend kind of if it was a home front war, and I know this is totally getting away from sports, but if it was a home front war, I wouldn't think so if it was happening on U.S. soil. But if it was away, or if it was kind of like if it was a world war, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what would happen. I think you would see teams getting cut, but I think you would see a bigger push for morale because that keeps morale really high. And I think that would really depress people. It's like, oh, this is all happening. A war is happening. Now the NFL's gone. And that's a lot of entertainment for some people.
Yeah, and going off of that as well, I feel like because there's so many other sports leagues in the United States that it wouldn't be just the NFL that would potentially suffer. You've got the NBA, you've got MLB, MLS, NHL. Those NHL guys, they'll mess you up. I mean, granted, most of them aren't American citizens.
Dude, you can make a whole Navy SEAL team just out of NHL players alone.
Probably.
They would win the war single-handedly.
Exactly. Send the hockey guys. They'll be fine. It would be interesting. I don't think it would suffer. I think there's enough players. Obviously, the rate of talent would drop, obviously, because you'd potentially lose some of your best players. But because football is such a huge sport in America, everybody wants to play in the NFL. Yes, the level of play would not be as high, but there's enough people to fill the gaps that I don't think that the league as a whole would suffer. So
makes sense.
All right. Anyway, well, intern Laura, thank you so much for stopping by today. Where can the good people of the world find you again?
They can find me on Twitter at Intern Laura BGSS.
That is correct. I would hope you'd know it more than I. I did know it, but I didn't know if you knew it as well.
I don't verbalize it too often. It's like your phone number. People
That's
are like,
true.
What's your phone number? It's like,
Yeah, there's a 9 and a 1, probably a few zeros. I don't know. I'll call the switchboard operator and they'll connect me to you. I'm not
Yeah,
exactly.
because those exist.
That's how my phone works. I'm not exactly sure. I talked
okay.
to a nice little lady named Sally, and she hooks me up. And
How nice.
I know Sally.
yeah, Sally. Yes, exactly. All right. Well, thank you again, intern Laura, for stopping by. We will see you again on Friday. Enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy the relaxation of Florida. Thank you again for traveling down with us. We appreciate that, and we appreciate you as well.
Oh, I appreciate you too.
Oh, she's so sweet.
And all of you out there.
Yes, we always appreciate you, the listeners, as a whole. This has been another edition of the Bax and Grant Sports Show. For intern Laura, Grant Coppersmith.
Go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go. As always, I'm Bax. We will see you all again on Friday. Thanks again for tuning in, and enjoy your day. This is another edition of the Bax and Grant Sports Show presented by Sports Radio America.
Hump Day!